Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidates interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Michael Rosenberg, and I'd like to introduce Al Matano, running for Dane County Supervisor in District 11. As we begin, I'd like you to give an opening statement as to your educational, vocational, and civic experience, which qualifies you for this office, and why you are running for the Dane County Board.
Thanks very much, Michael. I appreciate the introduction. I've been on the Dane County Board for 18 years now, and I'm happy to contribute to the small number of contested races we have countywide. As we were speaking a moment ago, we have 5 contested races out of 37, and this is my year to meet the voters of District 11, and I'm happy to do so. I started out, before I was elected to the county board, I came forth with a law degree and a history of activism on environmental issues. I also served 4 years on the Dane County Housing Authority's board. And in my 18 years on the county board, I feel like I've developed a good track record. I know the ins and outs of county government. I chair the Transportation Planning Board. At one time, I chaired the Solid Waste and Recycling Commission. I serve on the Zoning and Land Regulation Committee. And I've been an active outspoken advocate for certain issues. One I like to talk about is the efforts I took on the Enbridge pipeline application to the zoning committee, where we imposed insurance liability requirements because they wanted to expand the capacity of their tar sands pipeline across Wisconsin. That's just one of many issues on which I've taken the lead, and I look forward to asking the voters for 2 more years to continue these efforts.
Lack of affordable housing and the pressure it brings to the issue of homelessness is a chronic problem that Dane County cannot seem to get ahead of. What do you believe should be the board priorities for these issues?
Agreed that this should be a priority issue. It's ironic, I think, that our prosperity has exacerbated this problem. People at a forum last evening were talking about the fact that in their district, heavily populated District 6, where we have a very large number of candidates running for an open seat, the high quality of life in Dane County has simply driven the price of housing sky high. And that's a good thing from an economic standpoint, but it's a bad thing for those left behind. Dane County needs to provide short-term solutions for the homeless and long-term solutions. One fund we've created is the Affordable Housing Fund, which funds various projects throughout the county. From time to time, we're asked to approve a specific project where an apartment building will be expanded or renovated. We're currently fleshing out the proposal to redevelop the Messner's building site on East Washington Avenue. And that, of course, was initially purchased by the county for a day shelter for the homeless. So we've finally gotten a permanent day shelter for the homeless, the Beacon, which is closer in on East Washington than we initially planned. And it helps connect homeless people with counseling and just day-to-day services like laundry and access to computers and such. So a multi-pronged approach is needed, and we're working on it. We don't have infinite resources, but I think what we're doing is a number of steps in the right direction.
With the growth and spread of population in Dane County, what do you believe are the most significant transportation/environmental issues facing the Dane County Board, and how do you think that these issues need to be addressed?
Well, it's my favorite question. Based on my expertise and experience, I'm chair of the Regional Transportation Planning Board, and I'm a member of the Zoning Committee. So what we've seen over the years is a steady increase in the population of Dane County, and the antithesis to sprawl is development in more compact areas. So we have areas like Verona, where the leadership has been shifting to and the forward-looking people on the city council are trying to develop more downtown housing and walkable destinations like restaurants and such. So what I foresee in the long term for good land use planning is that kind of urban density throughout the county, not just here in the center of Madison, but in the center of Mount Horeb, Verona, Wanakee, Sun Prairie. And gradually we're seeing that kind of development happen and that kind of leadership. On the transportation front, we felt like we were on the cusp of having a commuter rail system that would have provided backbone service down the isthmus, and that was thwarted when Scott Walker was elected and abolished our regional transit authority. Currently, the vision is for bus rapid transit, which is a form of bus service that emulates rail transit. Station stops are spread out more widely than a typical bus service. Ticketing is done off-board so that the bus driver can focus on driving rather than collecting monies and such. And that will be a backbone service from West Town to East Town and ultimately north to south from Warner Park to the South Transfer Point. Along with that, we'll need to establish the regional bus service that's been envisioned in our countywide plans, and that will provide commuter bus service to places like Wanakee, Sun Prairie, Oregon, and Stoughton. So with those solutions, hopefully we'll address the problems and turn them into opportunities.
What public safety issue or issues do you believe are most pressing that need the attention of the Dane County Board?
Well, I think that we have law enforcement and poverty are intertwined. I think that we really need to help people improve their lives so that they don't become repeat customers at the jail. So regardless of what construction project goes forward, I think that we need to provide mental health services to people so that when they are released from the jail, they don't return in a very short order. We have a lot of people who have problems with drugs and alcohol. We have a lot of disadvantaged people whose poverty leads to a chaotic lifestyle, which often lands them in trouble with the law. So I believe that increased efforts to solve the problem of poverty, to solve the problems of troubled neighborhoods and such, will lead to a more happy existence for people and ultimately bring down the rate of crime.
What do you believe is the specific issue of most concern to the residents of your district, and how do you want to work on solving it?
Well, I think one we've already spoken of, the issue of homelessness. I think my district has a great, it's a very, by and large, people are fairly comfortable there, but people are uncomfortable with their comfort, knowing that there are people sleeping out on the streets these January nights. And so I think that, as I indicated in the earlier, in response to the earlier question, I think we'd really like to aggressively seek to develop more housing, permanent housing. We'd like to develop mental health services and provide social work and such to reach people. We'd like to leverage the contact we have through the Beacon Day Shelter to provide services, connect people with benefits they may have coming to them, such as veterans benefits, and really help people get back on their feet again. And I think that's something that people who lead comfortable lives often think about. And when I mention it in going door to door there, that you can sense an immediate connection.
What one or two personal qualities do you have that will make you the best representative on the Dane County Board for your district residents?
Well, I think I've developed a good ability to get along with others over the years. In my work on the Transportation Planning Board, I've organized outreach meetings to locations outside of the city of Madison. So I've developed relationships with people like the mayor of Sun Prairie, people in the city of Verona, where we had our most recent outreach meeting. Also with the Transportation Planning Board, we're doing outreach to the Regional Plan Commission. So we're working to see if we can bring our transportation planning and our land use planning into sync so that we don't have two agencies working on related issues in different milieus.
What would you like to say to the viewing audience for your closing statement?
Closing statement already. Well, to the viewing audience, I've been on the Dane County Board a long, long time, and in that period of time, I feel like I've accomplished a great deal. I've been a leader on environmental issues, as I've mentioned, as a member of the zoning committee, and standing up to one major polluter, the Enbridge Pipeline Corporation. I've been an advocate for transit. I've been a steadfast advocate for criminal justice reforms and services for the homeless. And I feel that 2 more years will help me continue those great efforts. Thank you.
I want to thank Al Matano for speaking with us and the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. As with every election, please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.